think from a food industry perspective, there are two big barriers that are preventing more companies using iodized salt in more of their products. The one big hurdle is the labeling term of iodized salt when you use it in compound foods. So suppose you have a soup. The soup has water. At some point it comes iodized salt. Since roughly 10 years, you need to disclose the ingredients of the iodized salt, and what you will see on the ingredient list is something like iodized salt, brackets, salt, comma, potassium iodate, brackets. And potassium iodate is something that we know consumers don't like. It's one of those ingredients that consumers don't understand, sounds chemical, they don't know what it is, and that's why they're rejecting it. There's tons of consumer research suggesting this. And that's why, in a situation where companies can decide and choose for themselves whether they use iodized salt or non-iodized salt, the decision too often goes towards non-iodized salt, which then eventually means that since these 10 years, since when this is mandatory, the use of iodized salt in processed foods has decreased. Less and less products, or fewer and fewer products, contain iodized salt, and that's not what we want, and that's not what is then helping with addressing the deficiency situation with European citizens. The other one is a challenge that is mostly faced by companies who are trading products across borders. So suppose you're producing in Belgium and you want to sell in Spain or in Sweden. These countries have different legislations referring to the iodine level in the salt. So you might produce a product that is wonderfully compliant with the rules in Belgium, but maybe not in Sweden, maybe not in Greece. This always creates a situation that is called legal uncertainty. And the food business operators are concerned about one thing, is about compliance. So we always want to launch products that are compliant. If you have a situation of legal uncertainty, you can't be sure. Again, this triggers quite often the decision towards using non-iodized salt. And this is also something that can be addressed. In this context, it would have to be addressed by the member states, who just put into their local legislation something we call a mutual recognition clause that says everything that's coming from other countries, if it's compliant with the rules in these countries, can also be marketed in a compliant way in our country. So that would address the second biggest hurdle why food business operators are not using iodized salt in that many products. One thing is the labeling. That's a European thing where the European Commission can help. The other one is one that the member states need to address. I think food industry has a crucial role to play here. And this has something to do with the modern ways of eating. We know from research that more than 80, sometimes even 90% of the salt that people eat is coming from the consumption of processed foods. Or you get it when you go eating out in restaurants, to the canteen, when you pick up your sandwich for lunch outside. If these products would all contain iodized salt, it would have a much better contribution to the iodine intake of the population, and it would much better help to ensuring that people get those levels of iodine that they really need. And again, I'm picking up the young women. Having sufficient levels of iodine in your diet pre-pregnancy is so important for the health of your baby, because it helps with the cognitive development, so with the development of the brain. If the baby does not get enough iodine, then it cannot fully achieve its IQ potential. And that is, of course, something that is relevant from an economic point of view. As a European Union and member states, we all have an interest that the youth, the kids that are growing up, can leverage their full potential. If they don't get enough iodine, that's going to be compromised. So the role of food industry here is put iodized salt into your products where it matters. And where it matters most is for those products where you consume a portion and you usually also get a significant chunk of salt. Take a portion of soup, take a stew or a dish that you have produced by using a bouillon cube or something. You get a significant part of your daily salt needs, if you want, and thereby also getting sufficient levels of iodine. And if food industry would just use iodized salt in more products, we would have much better chances of addressing the health issue, which is the risk of iodine deficiency in Europe.